approaching the border. Secondly, Jacqueline and her father speak Quiché, and Spanish is their second language. Neither of them speaks English. Yet CBP is relying on forms signed by her father, which are in English language. It is unacceptable for any government agency to have persons in custody sign documents in a language that they clearly do not understand. Third, the El Paso County officer of the Medical Examiner's Office, which conducted Jacqueline's autopsy, has made no public statement regarding her cause of death. In fact, neither the medical examiner nor Providence Children's Hospital have released records to Jacqueline's father. We would ask that the media and federal agencies cease further speculation about her cause of death until these documents are released to Jacqueline's family. Premature and inaccurate statements undermine the integrity of the investigation. We urge investigating authorities to conduct a transparent and neutral investigation of Jacqueline's death while in custody. Jacqueline's family thank the media for your understanding of their privacy at this time of grieving. The statement is issued by Enrique Moreno, Elena Esparza from the law offices of Enrique Moreno in El Paso, Lynn Coyle, and Chris Benoit of the law office of Lynn Coyle in El Paso. We're now open for questions. Yes?
Can you say that in Spanish, sir, so you can share a little bit with the media in Spanish, please?
Yes. I'm not going to attempt to, and my apologies to you, because this statement was just finished today at about 1 o'clock, and it hasn't been translated. My apologies, because we really should get this translated. Básicamente, estamos aquí esta tarde no tanto como para propósito de una rueda de prensa, sino para la oportunidad de agregar información acerca de la muerte de esta niña de 7 años. Queremos confirmar que el papá de la niña se llama Neri Gilberto Cal Cruz y que la mamá de la niña se llama Claudia Marvel McKean Cox. La niña se llama Jacqueline Amy Rosemary Cal McKean. Ella acababa de cumplir 7 años el 3 de diciembre. Inmigración se comunicó con la Casa de Anunciación aproximadamente el día 8 de diciembre a pedirnos si estuviéramos dispuestos de darle hospedaje a un señor que iban a soltar ellos, y nosotros les dijimos que sí. Nosotros recibimos esos pedidos continuamente. La norma es que es principalmente familias y luego segundo mujeres solteras, mujeres embarazadas. Es raro, pero no infrecuente, que nos pidan que recibamos a un hombre solo. El oficial nos informó que que la hija del papá había fallecido y que él había entrado por Lordsburg. Yo asumí que esto era una situación donde tenía una hija en los Estados Unidos, había fallecido y le habían otorgado una visa humanitaria para poder ir al funeral, los servicios de su hija. Una vez que él llegó el día 9 de diciembre, él llegó a la Casa de Anunciación el día 9 de diciembre, nos informó que eso no era la situación, que la niña acababa de morir, que la niña apenas tenía 7 años, que había muerto aquí en El Paso en un hospital, y la pregunta que era muy preocupante para mí era saber si el papá y la niña estaban en la custodia de la patrulla fronteriza cuando ella falleció, y la respuesta era que sí, que estaban en la custodia. Así es que eso para nosotros tiene muchas implicaciones, y al deber de eso empezamos nosotros a hacer investigaciones para querer obtener más información para ver si pudiéramos ver exactamente qué es lo que pasó. Um,
How long have they actually been traveling?
I'm sorry?
How long have they actually been traveling?
Okay. Questions that are related about the details, I'm going to have to refrain from answering them, okay? I can't give you any of those details. Yes?
Mr. Garcia, how is he doing? I mean, what's his mental state like? Has he been receiving any kind of services, for him, as he deals with the grieving process?
He has. He's had a lot of support, both from, he is evangelical, his faith identification is evangelical. He has a profound faith. We were with him yesterday at the prayer service, and all of us were moved by the depth of his faith and his trust that God's hand is in all of this. And he has had pastors, evangelical pastors, pray with him, as well as priests that have been available to be with him. And so he's doing as well as you might expect someone to be doing.
Sure. And when you received the phone call, was this in the night, in the morning? What time of day was it?
It was later in the afternoon. It was late afternoon, evening when I received the call. And as I said, those calls are very frequent. Right. They're very usual. They're very common.
Right. And you received the call from your staff, like in the evening?
No, I received the call directly from Border Patrol.
Okay.
That they were really asking me if I would receive the father, and the Border Patrol agent was the one that told me his daughter has died, and I'm calling you from Lordsburg, and that's how I knew that they were in the Lordsburg area. I made those assumptions that were incorrect.
But when your staff called you saying this case is a little different?
It was the next day when he actually arrived, and I asked the volunteer who was on shift to please get additional information, and that's when we became aware that this was very, very different than what I had assumed.
Ruben, can you talk about whether or not the father has any kind of problems with the timeline that the Department of Homeland Security has released, and if indeed he never mentioned any kind of issues, his daughter having any kind of distress until he was on that bus at 5 a.m.?
Again, I'm going to refrain from getting into the specifics right now. I can't go into that. What is very important to us is to make it very clear that the father told us that my daughter was eating, my daughter was receiving water and liquids, and that she was fine, that through traveling through Mexico, etc., that she was fine, and that's a really important statement for us to get out there. Likewise, very important for us to emphasize that there hasn't been a cause of death given, and yet we're very much aware that it is being reported as if there is a cause of death when in fact there isn't.
And he feels like the Border Patrol agents who were with them from 9:15 that Thursday night and transporting them, that he has no problems with the way they were treated and handled?
This is expressed when he expresses his gratefulness that the response of the first responders, and he was with her. He did not accompany her on the medevac. They medevaced her to Providence, and then he was transported on ground transportation. When he received to the hospital, he was there at the hospital as she was being cared for, and he's very grateful with what he saw, the response and the attempts that were made to save his daughter's life. At the hospital, his daughter arrested a couple of times, and they were able to revive her.
One more quick question. From the time they were picked up after turning themselves in to agents, and that they were transported at 4:30, what the timeline was, did he say, or has he said, if during that time they received food and water from agents there at that border entry point?
Again, I'm going to refrain from answering those questions. Yes?
Ruben, you mentioned that his first language, his main language, is Kikuchi, the Mayan dialect. Has he expressed any concern about the language barrier between himself and Border Patrol agents?
Um, um, to me, he has not. To me, he has not. He has not expressed that. Um, he has not. I think I don't want to say anything beyond that.
Did he indicate that his daughter had any previous medical conditions? Was there anything that he gave them information? They took her to the hospital, that she had any pre-existing conditions?
None whatsoever. None whatsoever. He's been very clear, very consistent that his daughter was healthy, that his daughter very much wanted to come with him.
Rubén, ¿crees que es muy importante el asunto del que él habla una lengua quechí para lo que le hizo firmar la patrulla fronteriza? Y dos, si nos puedes decir en español, ¿qué te comentó a ti la razón por la cual él no desea presentarse y dar su relato de lo que sucedió?
Él tiene mucho miedo. Él tiene mucho miedo y ese miedo nace de la dificultad para él y yo conozco esa dificultad porque esto es lo que he hecho con mi vida, la dificultad en entender todo lo que está pasando y la preocupación que él tiene de saber si yo digo algo, si yo hablo, qué me va a pasar. Así es que es un miedo que yo conozco, que lo he visto miles y miles de veces. Así es que él me ha dicho que él a este punto no. Y yo he hablado mucho con él. Para querer ayudarle a entender que lo que pasó es un evento que tiene implicaciones inmensas. Y para él está queriendo entender eso. Cuando yo hablé con él, porque he estado recibiendo pedidos que si pudieran entrevistarlo, él me ha dicho de su parte que él no quiere. Ahora, una vez que nos empezamos a reunir con los licenciados, con los abogados, ellos también dijeron, a este punto no queremos que él hable con los medios de comunicación.
Sobre el documento que le dieron a firmar en la patrulla fronteriza.
Eso es parte de lo que queremos investigar mucho a fondo. Esta es una preocupación.
¿Por qué?
Es una preocupación de que continuamente nosotros recibimos familias que nos dicen, sí, pues yo firmé. ¿En qué idioma estaba? Pues yo no lo entendía, estaba en inglés. Eso es muy común, que se le pide a familias, individuos que firmen documentos que están en inglés, que no son traducidos. Así es que esa es una preocupación. En el caso del papá, agregamos que el español no es su primer idioma. Así es que eso también es un factor que nos preocupa mucho.
Sé que el comunicado que él lees ahorita de él es todo en inglés y es muy largo. ¿Podría hacer un pequeño resumen en español de las partes más importantes que él quiere mencionar en el comunicado?
Él dice que a contrario de lo que se está reportando, que su niña no había comido y no había tomado agua por varios días y que había estado cruzando en el desierto por varios días, que él quiere aclarar que eso no está correcto, que el papá tomó cuidado de su hija, que aseguró que estaba comiendo, que estaba recibiendo agua y que al llegar a la frontera a pedir asilo, que ellos fueron detenidos casi inmediatamente, que ella no había sufrido de falta de agua o comida antes de llegar a la frontera. Segundo, que el papá habla, su primer idioma es quechí y que su segundo idioma es español, que él ni la niña hablan inglés y que aún esos datos, esa información, que la patrulla fronteriza está usando formas que firmó el papá que no están, que están en inglés y que él no puede entender, y que eso es inaceptable. Final, que la oficina forense no ha dado causa de la muerte de la niña, ni el hospital Providencia, que fue el hospital que recibió la niña cuando la trajeron inicialmente, que no han dado o reportado a la familia la causa de la muerte, y que se le está pidiendo a los medios de comunicación y a las autoridades que no se siga dando la impresión que se sabe cuál fue la causa antes de que sepamos cuál fue la causa.
Mr. Garcia, can you comment on the implications that this case might have? I mean, you've seen the policies firsthand that the Trump administration has adopted when it comes to people claiming asylum in the United States. Can you comment a little bit about how those policies may have impacted this?
For me, as the director of Annunciation House, of great concern is, according to CBP, when the father was apprehended and detained, they give the number of 165 other individuals detained together. What that is telling me is that the enforcement, the policy of pushing people back to Juarez, not allowing them to present themselves, the building of more barriers from allowing people to exercise a right that is guaranteed by U.S. law and international law. What people are doing is they're going further and further out, and that is dangerous. It is endangering the lives and welfare of families, and obviously of children, and that is very, very disconcerting. The unwillingness of the country and the government to deal with the realization, with the reality of people who leave their country because it is no longer sustainable for them to be there because of the insecurity and the violence, and for them to seek protection, at least the opportunity to have their circumstances adjudicated in immigration court, etc., that we are making that increasingly impossible to do. What is most disconcerting is that that is the intention of government policy. It is the intention of government policy to prevent people from exercising their right. And that's immensely disconcerting.
Ruben, do you know if his family tried to cross in, the way you're talking about at a bridge, and tried to make that request? Do you know if that was the case?
That is not the case. They did not enter through a port of entry, nor did they attempt to.
Does he have any other children?
He does. There are 3 other children in Guatemala.
Were they part of the caravan, or were they just sort of part of the normal flow of people?
They were not part of the caravan. He came up as part of a smaller group that then gathered with other people on the way here. And when he traveled, he was traveling by bus, and it was 40 people is what he told us. Yeah.
Ruben, do you know if they were trying to use the Antelope Well crossing, that small crossing, even though it was closed, or they just picked that? Did he tell you why they picked that route?
Because that's what he was told. You know, he was told to yeah.
Ruben, what do you say to the there's a great deal of criticism out there of the father of putting his daughter through this ordeal. What do you say to many people in this country who agree with that sentiment?
You know, I've been doing this for so many years, and I have been hearing the stories of the people of Central America coming up, and their lives are beyond impossible.
none of us in the United States can imagine. It is very difficult for me to hear someone say, how could someone bring their child up without first saying what is their reality, and then in the face of that reality, not consider what it is that pushes people to come up. I promise you, today, ICE is releasing 205 persons to us. Yesterday, they released close to 300. Tomorrow, they want us to take another 300. If you sit down, family by family, and you ask them in your heart of hearts, is this where you want to be? They're all going to tell you, no. I want to be back home. But it's impossible to be back home. And so they're coming up, and our policies are forcing people to do things that are dangerous, Our policy, our law says that people have the right to approach our border and ask for protection. Whether they're going to win that, whether they're going to gain that protection, that's for an immigration judge to decide. But to put the kind of security, the barriers, all of these, they're arms against human beings. We are structuring arms aimed at vulnerable human beings. That's their only design, and we're doing that in the name of they're all criminals, they're all bad, they come to do something which is utterly, totally, 100% inaccurate. You know, I say to people, in the last 5 years, an estimate of the number of refugees that ICE has asked us to receive because they have released them, I would put at about 150,000 that we've received. Ask me how many times in one of our hospitality sites that we have had to call the police because of some disturbance with one of the refugees. We've had to call the police 0 times. 0 times. We've never had to call the police. Now, if I go to any community in the United States, any community that is made up of citizens of the United States, and I draw a circle around a demographic group of 150,000 people, and I ask, in that demographic group, how many times, how many calls have been made to the police to come and respond to disturbances or serious situations or shootings, or how many times? It's just not true. We are setting arms that are aimed at vulnerable people. I don't think that's who we want to be as a country.
Do you know why his wife and other children stayed back in Guatemala?
Because he's not able to bring the entire family. Any other questions?
What's going to happen with the father? Is he going to seek asylum, or is he going to be deported?
That's a lawyer question, okay? And a team of attorneys is being assembled to look at all the different legal needs that this particular father has at this particular moment because of the circumstances in which he finds himself.
So the lawyers are asking for a separate investigation apart from the Department of Homeland Security's Inspector General? Because yesterday CBP said that DHS Inspector General is going to investigate this.
Correct, and there's 2 different offices that are going to that have already initiated. I received calls from 2 different offices letting me know that they've initiated investigations to see exactly what it is that took place, and we've told them that yes, we want to work with them, and that the father will be made available with his attorneys for the question, the interviews, etc. So we very much want that to be a part of it. But we are asking that in addition to that, that we are satisfied that there is an investigation that meets the criteria of transparency as it is that it is done an objective and thorough investigation that is within the nationally recognized standards for the arrest and custody of children. And so your question, should that be solely done by these offices? I think that's something that we're going to look into. Okay.
Bueno, ¿podrías platicar un poquito de qué es lo que sigue? Ya comentabas que el consulado pues se va a ser responsable de la niña de regresar. Platícanos un poquito de esto y qué es lo que sigue con el papá de esta niña.
Ok, el cuerpo de la niña ya no está aquí en El Paso. Ok, ahorita el cuerpo de la niña está en Laredo y de allí de Laredo, una vez que ya se completan todos los formularios que se tienen que firmar y todo eso, va a regresar por avión a Guatemala y ellos se encargan de llevar el cuerpo hasta la aldea donde vive la familia, la mamá, los abuelos, etc. El papá está bajo un procedimiento migratorio y así es que él todavía enfrenta el proceso migratorio y ese es uno de los ramos del equipo legal que está trabajando con el papá.
What's the name of the village in Guatemala where the body's going to be?
I can't pronounce it, to tell you the truth. I can't pronounce it. It's an indigenous name, and I can't pronounce it.
Or the Department of the State of Guatemala? I have the name here. I can spell the village in which they live. It is Raxruha, and it's in the department of Alta Verapaz.
Ruben, can you talk a little bit about what prompted him to decide to leave? Was it gangs or government or anything like that?
Again, I'm going to have to refrain from answering that.
Is this his youngest daughter?
It is not.
Do you know how long he'll be at the Association House?
I don't. That is connected to the legal process. We want to make sure that all the legal aspects of his situation are well covered and addressed before a next step is taken.
How old are her parents?
They're in their 60s.
Her parents?
Oh, no, I'm sorry. I thought you said his parents. No, he is 28, 29 years old, and I think she is 20. Mom is 27, 26.
Do they have you said earlier that they were told to cross where they were to cross with? Do they have a coyote, or was it just sort of word of mouth?
Again, I'm going to refrain because that has to do with his situation. Okay. Okay.
And the statements, forgive me, do they have the name of the mother and his name? So that way we can spell it right.
They don't, and I will spell it for you. Jacqueline's name is on the statement, and I'm going to go ahead and pass these out and just so that you all have copies of the statement. And again, I'm profusely apologize for it not being in Spanish. The father's spelling of his name is capital N-E-R-Y, Gilberto, Gilberto. First last name, Cal, C-A-A-L. Second last name, Cuz, C-U-Z. The mother's name, first name is Claudia, C-L-A-U-D-I-A. Maria. Maribel, Marivel. Maquin, Maquin. Second last name, Cox, C-O-C.
And Jacqueline spelled M-A-K-E-L-I-N? I mean, I'm sorry, Jacqueline.
It's Jakelin. Amai, A-M-E-I. Rosemary, R-O-S-M-E-R-Y. Caal, C-A-A-L. Maquin, M-A-Q-U-I-N. So, again, I want to thank you all for coming this afternoon. Again, I would appeal to you to please respect the privacy of Neri, of the dad, and whether or not he will speak to the media will be something that will be decided down the line. Okay, thank you all so very much.
Thank you.
Yes.